Alright, so let's get started. We're going to use our primary colors here, our blue, which is our Phthalo Blue. The red that I have is a permanent red, and the yellow is a medium yellow. This is the Master's Touch brand. They're not sponsoring this tutorial video at all. It's just the brand that I use. And now it's always good to work with your primary colors. You can go out and buy the colors if you like, but knowing how to manipulate the colors, going from light to dark, is really going to help you become a better artist. Let's start off with some red first. I'll just do a red circle here. It's not a master circle, it's just a red circle. We'll improve it as we go along. But first I'll show you how I used to do my highlights and shadowing. In this last painting that I just recently done of Bogota, Colombia, I actually learned a lot from that painting because I had so many repetitive highlights and shadowing with the buildings that I had to do. And normally when I would do my highlights and shadows, I would just use white for my highlights and black for my my shadows. And as I was doing this and I saw the repetitiveness of it, I noticed that the shading, whether it was a red building, an orange building, a blue, a tan, what have you, all the shadowing looked the same, all the highlights kind of looked the same. And I learned about halfway through the painting that it can be done a different way to have a little bit more saturation and color, just a little more vibrant in your shadowing and highlights. Now I'll just use a little bit of black here to kind of show this and demonstrate, but what I'm trying to do here in my paintings is get away from all the extra colors I'm using and just using my primary colors, my blue, red, and yellow, because you can mix any color you need with that, with your blue, red, and yellow, and using your white. You can get to any color you need. Yes, there are some instances where you need a black, but a lot of times whatever you're painting, whether it's a landscape or ocean, let's say a forest, it's not a black that's in there, it's just a really, really, really dark saturated green. For an ocean, it may just be a really, really dark blue. And so some areas may require the black, but I'm slowly moving away from that. So let me go ahead and show you how I would normally do my highlights. Now I would normally go from light to dark, from dark to light. So we'll just use our black here, get it here really light, and since it's a sphere, it's going on. I'm going to picture the light coming in from this direction here. Now I do apologize, I'm here working out of town right now, so I'm in a hotel, and I just kind of have a basic kind of a setup just to kind of get me where I need to be. So what I would normally do is I would get my black in there, then I go back with some red and blend that in and blend this black into my highlighted section. Alright, now I get a nice clean brush, so I want to come in with our highlight right here and bring it down. So get our brush cleaned up, use just a little bit of white, add a little bit of water, and I'll slowly just add this in. Dot right there. Okay, so that's kind of a basic shadowing and highlight that we're showing. We're showing that the light's coming from this direction, this top left portion, shining down onto this sphere. You would even probably have a little shadow here if you want to go that far. We can probably make another video into that later on. Alright, so now we've got the basic thing that I used to do previously, and we just use my white and my black, and I have my red, and we go there and we have our sphere. Now I'm going to show you what I've been doing, and I'm still learning, so I'm not 100% on it. I've purchased this color wheel. Getting to know your color wheel is really going to help you out, because I don't have it memorized yet. This has really been helping me out a lot. So knowing your primary colors, what you need to mix. You know, everybody knows if you got blue and we mix yellow with it, we're going to get green, you know. But then to find the complementary color to that, this wheel is actually very unique in the fact of it gives me the complementary on the other side here. So if I'm mixing green, our complementary color to that is the exact opposite. So I would add red to my green, and that would give us a dark color for what we need. So here we've got red. So we'll take our arrow, point to our red, and our complement color is green. So we'll add green to our red, and that'll give us that dark color, that saturation, that the color is just a real vibrant dark red. And then we can add our whites in for our highlights in. And as we go through, maybe even our red will start to look a little more purple. And so we turn that over here, and now we need to go, we'll start it to a violet, sorry. And then we add a little more yellow to that as we start getting a little bit lighter into our highlighted section. So that's what we're aiming for. That's a new technique that I'm sure isn't new to a lot of artists, but I've kind of been doing a little research and playing with, and I actually like how it turns out. It looks a little bit better. So got blue, add a little blue, get a little more yellow, and we'll make our green a little more yellow. All right, so we got our green here. We already got our red, so we're just going to add a little bit of that red into there, and that kind of muddies it up a little bit. Could be a little brown. We'll add a little more red in there, and you see it starting to get that violet kind of color. Add a little more red to that. Okay, and we'll start coming in here. See, that's just a very dark red, and it's still giving us our shadow. But you see this how here, it's just the whole thing just looks kind of dark and muddy and black. Just constantly be thinking of your values. Are we going lighter? Are we going darker? You see that looks just a little more dark because that's going to sit better on our bottom side of our sphere. We'll start coming in a little more lighter, a little more red, more red. More white. So our acrylics dry so quickly, we can paint right over that if we get it too, if our color isn't just right. If we've gone too dark, we've gone too light, we can come back into there and just paint right over that. See, we've gotten now, we're in that kind of mid-tone. We're not quite in our dark section, we're not quite in our light section. Kind of found that mid value now, so now we'll come back with our red and a little bit of white to lighten that up, and we can come in here in this highlighted spot and slowly add in that highlight. You don't have enough white, you can always add more. Keep coming in, keep coming in, keep coming in. Move that around. Slowly working that to the brighter portion. Getting a little bit brighter, a little bit brighter, a little brighter. Okay. As we've done that, we've kind of moved our brights a little too far in, so now we've lost that shadow on this back side. So now we'll go back in with our red. My green. Add a little bit of green in there, a little more. We already have it mixed up. And always be thinking as you're doing this, you're mixing it up, since you're just working with your primary colors in white, you just need to be thinking, does it need a little more blue? Does it need a little more yellow, red, or white? Let's put a little bit of blue in there. more blue. We want to get more of that violet color, that dark red. Because if we add our yellow, it's going to start getting a little more light. We want it to be darker. We're adding our shadows in here. Good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, now we've got our good dark shadowing through here. Now we can work this dark shadow back into our light, and as we're running less and less paint on our brush as we're working back into it, it'll slowly kind of dry brush into what we've already placed on, and it will blend in depending on how fast you're working. Alright, add a little white spot, show that highlight. So there you have it. You can see the difference between the two, how this one just looks more like a muddied red-black because you're just using your white and your black to get a darker black. But as you're using the complement color from your red, the gradient from going from your darks into your light are a lot smoother. So this can be done on anything too. It's just not just your red. You can do it with your blues or your yellow, whatever you want it, whatever you need to be. So let's go in here with our blue. We're going to go in here and do a yellow. So there you have it. That's kind of what I've been working with here, and I just wanted to bring that to y'all. So hopefully that'll help you become a better artist. You can see my blue here. Circle is looking a little more green, so I need to work a little more on that. But you can see here, we're just adding our white and our black, how it's just a muddied, or just a dark or a dirty red, because the black is all the way throughout and just a little bit of white. Whereas here on our red, it's a really, really dark red, and it slowly gravitates to our white. Same thing with the yellow, real dark yellow, almost a yellow green, but just real dark yellow, and slowly gets into our white. Messed up a little bit here on our blue, got a little more green to that, but still more of an aqua kind of sphere, and we slowly gets into our white. And so having those gradual moves into your highlights is really going to help you create better masterpieces and better pieces, and understanding where the light's coming from, where your shadow is going to be. We'll work on that later, maybe doing another video on that. But I do highly recommend getting a color wheel as you begin to learn this, and you have this memorized. Once you have this memorized and you're able to jump back and forth, it's really going to make you a better artist. So I hope that helped you. God bless, and happy painting.